I've been thinking about the concept of energy being God, and what if art is the voice of God? And we as human beings house so much energy within us. Any living creature houses energy within them, and especially the energy of joy and enlightenment and expansion and peace. Those like high frequency energies. What if that's God, and we are, as artists, are able to speak through what we create? And that is why you can't actually just make something with skill, because you have to harness this energy and you have to let this energy flow through you, and it requires so much surrender in order for that to happen. Now, I will say with surrender, you also need something to fall back on. So that is why having a skill is very important as far as being an artist, and why that gets confused so often as far as like what art is. Is it skill? Is it mastered skill? Is it someone who's just really good at their thing? And what is art actually? And for me, and I believe this is the case for most artists, is that having a skill is basically like being able to use your hands and being able to have your tool. So for a pianist, if you don't have a piano, you actually can't play. You can't play you can't play anything. So it's so essential to have your tool in order to be able to express. And that is why developing your skill is so important, and why practice is so important. And my mom is a piano teacher. She would always, when I was a kid, she would always tell me, you have to practice. And I would practice like 5 times a week, an hour a day. And I didn't really enjoy the practice part of it. It wasn't my favorite, but I did love playing, and I did love just being able to sit there and experiment with different melodies and feel through it. So it's both, though. It's like practicing to the point where your muscles are it's so ingrained in your muscles that you don't actually have to think about what you're doing anymore, and you can just trust your body to be able to do what you've trained it to do, which is, for me, playing the piano and creating, and in trusting your body to be able to do these things. You don't have to be thinking as much anymore, and you can create, and that's what gives the space for you to be able to surrender to the flow and to the process. And people are always talking about the flow and creativity and like, oh, I was in the flow or whatever, and that's what they're talking about. It's being able to surrender and just let yourself play, which is why I also feel that it is so important when you are learning a craft and when you're learning your skill to play as much as you are practicing with that same tool that you're developing, because play is so incredibly important in being able to not become rigid in your training and not become rigid in your craft. By playing, you are having fun with it, you're enjoying it, and that's what it is also, as far as like, and I want to talk about this more probably in another video, about what we are, because tools and skill is only part of what you use as an artist. The other side of things is your own, who you are as a human, and what your experience in this world has been, and your unique makeup as a human being. Someone's doing yard work over there. But yeah, your unique makeup as a human being, and what that kind of filter does to the energy as it's flowing through it. And I think that there's so much more integration we could be doing as like that's why healing, like being able to accept the parts of yourself that maybe you're not proud of, or the failures that you've experienced, or also the successes and the happy things in your life, and the things that make you who you are, and your unique ethnicity and how you were raised, the culture you were raised in, and the time period you're in, and all of that is so what makes you who you are. And that's why full integration of all those things is so important, because we are the filter for the energy. And if the filter's tight, or if the filter's, dense with restriction and control, it's not going to create a space where energy can flow through. So that's why it's so important as a person to be able to integrate every part of yourself, which includes your child-like self, the child who would play and who wasn't trying to control, who wasn't overthinking, who wasn't trying to stick to their training, who wasn't trying to be perfect, who wasn't trying to be impressive, and they were just playing. And I think integrating that is really hard to do as an adult, because we want results and we want success, and we think that and it's been interpreted to us what success looks like, so it makes sense. But it's integrating that childlike play back into our practice again, and so that we can, by creating, we are engaging in this trust with our own self and our own tool, as well as a surrender to the energy that is waiting to be let out of us, and is waiting to communicate and waiting to speak. And that's where the magic is. And that's why art isn't something you can replicate, isn't something you can just do, or you can just throw into an AI generator. It's something that is living and breathing, and it evolves over time. And it also creates evolution within the consumer and the person who is experiencing the art. And so, yeah, it's really beautiful. So I'm obsessed with art.